Hey folks, I'm sure you might have seen this news report, but if not, I'll include a link to one of the stories in the description. Sidney Powell, a former lawyer of Donald Trump, she's being sued by the makers of voting machines, by one of the makers of the voting machines that were used in the last U.S. federal election, presidential election, because she wouldn't stop talking about them. She wouldn't stop telling anybody that will listen and anybody that would turn a camera towards her that these machines had been infiltrated, that these machines were used to steal the election, that these machines were used to rig the election against Donald Trump, that the company was somehow complicit or negligent in their managing of this. She was the lady, she was on all kinds of news shows. She was often seen standing behind him when then President Trump was making announcements and saying what he was saying. She was often seen with another one of Trump's attorneys, Rudy Giuliani. She was continuously out there, continuously using the power of her words to share this message that the election was stolen and that these voting machines, the irregularities that were found in these voting machines were at least partly to blame. Now, as I think I said, she's being sued by one of those companies for like $1 billion, a ridiculous sum of money. They had asked her to stop talking and she didn't. She just kept going. They asked her to rectify, to clarify, to correct her statements, and she didn't. She just kept going, and so they sued her. Anyway, her defense issued a statement of defense yesterday in court, and they're asking the court in Washington to either dismiss it or allow them to move it to Texas. Part of their defense was, and this is so important, part of what they said in her defense is that no reasonable person would have taken what she was saying seriously. So you can't sue me because no reasonable person would take what I'm saying seriously. There's a little clause out there in the law that says, for example, a comedian. You know that when you watch their show, you're probably going to run into some times where they are offering political content or celebrity content, where they're making fun of people who are somehow famous or notorious or infamous in society, people of power, people who are well known. And the clause is that you can make fun. You can offer parody. You can tell jokes. You can make up completely fabricated stories so long as they are done in such a way that no reasonable person would take them seriously. So this is the line that her defense is taking. Now, I don't know if it's going to work. I have a difficult time believing that it will, given the fact of how many different news programs she showed up on, how many different news channels she showed up on, how many how many press conferences she showed up at saying this same thing. At some point, we kind of have to assume that if she's going on the news, she's telling us something that is factual. Anyway, what I really wanted to talk about today is the importance of our words. I know that might be a long way of getting to this, but our words are so important. Our mouths are so incredibly powerful. In the Bible, we're told time and time and time again, all from Proverbs through the Psalms, through the prophets, we're told by Jesus, we're told by James, Jesus' brother, be mindful of your words, be mindful of your tongue. James tells us that the rudder of a ship, the small little piece of a ship called the rudder, guides the entire vessel this way or that. The same is true with your tongue. This small little muscle is used to do great things, to take us in great directions. It can get us in wonderful amounts of trouble. There's a saint, and I've mentioned him before. His name is Ignatius of Loyola. He was a Spanish saint from the 14 and 1500s. One of the things he talks about, and I tried to find the reference and I couldn't, but one of the things he talks about is our words, our conversations, our speaking. And he says, unless you're talking about God, just don't. Don't bother. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. Unless you're talking about God, don't bother talking. Now, that's pretty draconian, and that'd be really, really difficult for us to accept. But we can't expand upon it. Unless we're speaking in love, don't bother. Unless we're saying something that is encouraging and empowering, unless we're saying something that is uplifting, unless we're saying something that is loving and kind and tender, unless we're saying something that is gentle and always truthful, no lies. But unless we're saying these things, don't bother. Just don't say anything. And isn't that what Bambi's mother, or is it Thumper's mother says? If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. In our day and age, every single one of us has the ability to offer their opinion, their story, their experiences. We have the ability to offer our ideals and our thoughts and our ideas and our values. We have the options, we have the opportunities to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. We have opportunities to say whatever crosses our mind. And with that comes an extraordinary amount of power. We need to be mindful of it. We need to be careful of it. I've found since this channel has sort of started growing, I'm trying to become increasingly more careful with what I offer. I want to make sure I do more research. I want to make sure that I have my facts straight. I want to make sure that I'm responding as opposed to reacting. These are important. And to me, these are important because this is an opportunity where you see me. And you see me through your lens. You see me through your eyes. And I want to be a light. I want to be a source of wisdom. I want to be a source of information. I want to be a source of encouragement. Our voices are incredibly powerful. We have all these different vehicles to share our story and to tell and to say our words, to share our opinions and our thoughts and our values. We need to be careful. We're going to reach people that we never expected, that we never would have anticipated, that we never could have dreamed of. It's wildly important, wildly important that we speak with love. Always speak with love. Always, in some fashion or another, share love. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that we will be mindful of our words, that we will use our voices to speak truth and love into this world, that we will offer nothing but empowerment, encouragement, support, affirmation, validation, that our words would bring about positive changes through positive energy. Amen.